Hello, and welcome to module number 4 of the Elementary MTSS Leadership Team Academy. My name is Kevin Schlomer. I work for Heartland AEA, and I'm excited to get into this module with you, which is about universal screening and early warning systems. We're going to cover a lot of important content together because universal screening is really a starting point for the MTSS work that we want to do. It helps us to answer two important questions. The first one is the universal tier working for all of our students? If we have fewer than 80% of our students successful with universal tier alone, then that means we may have some work to do on the universal tier. And we'll talk about that in a future module. Screening also helps us to answer a second question, which is which students specifically need support in addition to the universal tier? So we can find those students that we need to provide some additional instruction, some intervention work with them, and help them to reach the level of expected performance where they're likely to have success as they continue going forward through school. So it's a very proactive approach. We don't wait for kids to fall completely behind their peers or be substantially discrepant before we move to support them. Rather, we actively search for those kids who need some support, and we create plans to address their needs. Now, we can do this a couple of ways. Of course, standard assessments are one way to do that. When we think of things like FastBridge assessments or STAR assessments or any other type of assessment which is created and packaged with things like norms and cut points and standardized administration directions and things like that, that's definitely one part of the screening process, but it's not the only part. We can also use data that we're already collecting and use it in ways to support our screening work. So we can look for things like attendance data or report card performance data or office referral behavior data. All of this information that we already collect, usually in our student information systems like PowerSchool or Infinite Campus or JMC, that information can all be used to support the work that we do with screening. So we can get a comprehensive picture of students, because remember, MTSS covers both academic and SEBMH needs. It's a focus on the whole child. So we want to make sure that we use and leverage all that data that we have available. So we're going to take a look at 4 key areas in this module as we move through together. The first one is thinking about the purposes of assessment in an MTSS system. So we'll spend some time thinking about screening assessments, diagnostic assessments, summative assessments. How are they the same? How are they different? One of the problems that teams can really run into is when they try to use an assessment in a way that it was not really designed to do. And so that can be frustrating and difficult and violates the integrity of the design of some of these assessments. So we want to be very clear and purposeful in which assessments we use for what purpose. We're also going to take some time to describe the data sources that you have available and think about how you might leverage them for your MTSS work. So just like we talked about all the information a few moments ago that you might collect in your student information system, you might have other information that's housed with school counselors, for example. There could be people from different departments or different aspects of the school that collect and use this information. So you want to think about what's the information you already collect and how can we pull it together in one usable format to make decisions. And so that will lead into the third key point that we'll talk about, which is early warning systems. And early warning systems are designed as a way to bring lots of different information together in one place so you can see it collectively and begin to make decisions about students based upon their academic and SEBMH needs. There are lots of ways to do this. You can create systems, or you can use some aspects of the Panorama system, which we'll talk about as well. But the key point is you're looking at all that information together and using it to inform your decisions at the school level. And then also you'll have time to plan for the use of data in your MTSS system. Just like the last couple modules, you'll have some time here at the end to do that together. And we'll think about things like, how do you set up your school calendar? When do you have your leadership team meetings? What barriers could be getting in the way of your MTSS work that you could, if you could remove those, it would enable your team to move forward. So lots of important content that we're going to go through in this particular module. We're very excited to have you back. Again, as before, Heartland AEA is glad to support you in any way that we can. So if you would like additional support in any of these areas, particularly in the SEBMH areas, which seem to be new for many schools, please reach out. Heartland does hire SEBMH consultants for each region, which are available to come out and support you in this work. They have some of the background and experience that can help lead you down a path to making a support in your building work the way that you need it to. So do please reach out if we can help you in any way. We're glad to do so. Best of luck as you move through Module 4 and uncover the learning together. And we'll be back to see you again as you get ready to begin Module 5. Happy learning.